Terence Crawford is pushing his limits in an intense training camp, preparing with laser focus for the biggest challenge of his career against Canelo Alvarez. On the other hand, Canelo Alvarez is also deep in a focused training camp, working on sharp counters, body shots, and head movement to prepare for Crawford's slick style. With intense sparring and strategic planning, his team is fine-tuning every detail to handle the speed, timing, and unpredictability Crawford brings to the ring. Moreover, David Morrell shared his thoughts on the fight between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. He said it is a tough matchup for Crawford and believes Canelo is too powerful. Morrell mentioned that while Crawford might be taking the fight for the money, the challenge is serious. He pointed out that Canelo is strong and not easy to beat. According to Morrell, it will be hard for Crawford to win or even make it past the third round. He gave Canelo a 60-40 edge in the fight.
I say Crawford, but it's the crazy fight. It's too much. It's too much pound for Crawford. I know he can do it for the money, but it's too much. It's too much pound for Crawford, and Canelo is not easy. Canelo is stronger. It's difficult. It's difficult for Crawford to win the fight or to stay there in the third round. So, I say 60-40 for Canelo.
However, Terence Crawford's pad training is fast and sharp, showing his speed, timing, and focus. Each punch is thrown with purpose as he works on combinations, movement, and accuracy, preparing to outsmart and outpace Canelo in the ring. Moreover, Coach Bernie shared strong support for Terence Crawford, saying he believes Crawford will beat Canelo Alvarez. He made it clear that the fight is not about how good Canelo is, but about how great Crawford is. According to him, Canelo is just a small part of the story, while Crawford is the main character. Bernie said this moment was meant for Crawford, and everything is lined up for him to shine.
Well, shout out to Bud Crawford, man. I'm so happy for him, and he gonna beat that boy, man. And like I say, it's not about how it's Canelo. It's about how good Crawford is. That's all this shit is about. It's about Crawford. It's the Crawford. He's just a mere person in the story. You understand? If you write this story, man, he's just a mere person in the story. And then it was this Canelo and this. That's all it is. But Crawford is the main character in the story. This shit was lined up for Crawford. It's about Crawford, man.
He also praised Canelo's past achievements, but said that losing to Crawford would not take anything away from his legacy. Bernie believes Crawford will do what others could not, including Erislandy Lara. He said Crawford will stand his ground, land clean shots, and break Canelo down. In his words, Crawford is simply greater, and he is ready to prove it in the ring.
About Canelo, he done his thing. He you know what I mean? He can't take nothing away from him because he loses to Crawford. Hell no. But you got to give Crawford enough stand because he going to do what Lara didn't do. He going to stand there and bust his ass up. He going to turn him up. Boy, that's what he going to do. He going to shout out to Lara, but I'm just saying, he going to do what them other guys didn't do. He going to pick him up, man. He going to fight that motherfucker, man. He going to beat Canelo's ass, man. And it is what it is. Canelo great, Bud just greater. That's it. Ain't no separation about that.
Moreover, Crawford's conditioning is intense, with long runs, strength drills, and high-paced workouts designed to keep his stamina high. He's building the endurance needed to stay quick, sharp, and strong through every round against Canelo. Jose Benavidez Sr. shared his view that Terence Crawford could struggle against the strength Canelo Alvarez brings. He compared the matchup to a cartoon chase, where Crawford would be the quicker but smaller one. While he praised Crawford's talent and gave him credit as a top-level fighter, he felt that the gap in size and power would likely be the deciding factor once they step into the ring.
He thinks that Crawford might not be able to handle Canelo's power. What do you think? I just think, in my opinion, we're gonna see a Tom and Jerry, brother. That's all. Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry. We're gonna see a Tom and Jerry. Right there, you know, Crawford's a little guy, man. My respect. Crawford's a hell of a fighter.
However, Crawford's training team works with precision and unity, each member focused on sharpening his skills and keeping him mentally strong. From his longtime coach Brian McIntyre to his strength and conditioning experts, everyone plays a key role in preparing him for the challenge ahead. They push him daily, fine-tuning strategy, timing, and footwork to make sure he enters the ring at his absolute best. Brian "Bomac" McIntyre, Crawford's head coach, said he feels very sure that Crawford will come out with the win. He also mentioned that he is proud of Crawford and the entire team because this is another big moment where the world gets to witness why many believe Crawford is the top pound-for-pound boxer today.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely confident that he's going to get the victory. Second of all, I'm just happy for him and the team. So, you know, the world can see once again why he considered the best pound for pound.
Bomac also stated that there is no pressure on Terence Crawford going into the fight because he always sticks to his own approach. He pointed out that no matter what Canelo or anyone else says, it does not affect Crawford. Bomac made it clear that their training is built around one game plan, and they believe fully in following it to succeed.
I think there's no pressure on Terence because Terence gonna fight the way that he's used to fighting. So by saying all that stuff that Turkey say or anybody else say, that doesn't bother Terence not one bit. You know, we train for one way, the way we're going to fight, and that's the way we're going to get the job done.
Finally, Bomac said that fans are going to be shocked when Crawford takes Canelo apart. He explained that as Crawford adjusts more to the heavier weight, he becomes even more dangerous. Bomac believes this comfort at the new weight will be a major advantage in the fight.
Fans are going to be surprised when he dismantled Canelo. You know, the more time goes on, the more time Terence can settle into that weight, the worse it's off for the opponent.
Max Kellerman spoke about how big the fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford really is, saying it ranks among the greatest boxing events he's ever witnessed. After covering historic fights like Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather and the classic battle between Anthony Joshua and Vladimir Klitschko, Kellerman said this upcoming showdown might even top them all. He pointed out that the size and timing of the event could make it the most important one he has ever seen.
But like, where would you rank this fight out of your top 3 to 5 of all the boxing fights you've called, you've experienced, you've watched?
In terms of the magnitude of the fight?
Yeah, the magnitude, yeah.
I mean, of the fights that I've called ringside, it might turn out to be number 1. I've done Pacquiao fights, I've done Mayweather fights, I've done Anthony Joshua against Klitschko. Those are big fights, but
Kellerman highlighted that with Netflix backing the event, this could become the most watched title fight in nearly 50 years. He looked back at Muhammad Ali's 1978 rematch with Leon Spinks, which was seen in 90 million homes, a figure still unmatched. While major pay-per-view events like Mayweather versus Pacquiao brought in huge sales, Kellerman said streaming has the power to reach even more people. If household viewing numbers are anything like the past, this fight could break modern-day records. From a business perspective, he firmly believes it will be the biggest boxing event he has ever been part of.
this will, listen, because of Netflix, this will be the most watched fight, championship fight, in almost 50 years. This is going to be because Muhammad Ali fought Leon Spinks in the rematch in '78, and they did 90 million TV sets. 90 million. And since then, what has even come close? The biggest fights have all been on pay-per-view, and they do 2 million buys. Oh my God, 4 million buys, Mayweather Pacquiao. As I keep saying, if 5 people per TV set watch, that's 20 million people. This is going to do multiples of that. So, so when you look at it from like a commercial point of view, it'll easily be the biggest boxing event I've ever covered.
Michael Buffer shared his thoughts on the potential clash between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, calling it a close and exciting fight built more on skill than raw power. He praised UFC President Dana White when asked about him promoting the bout, describing White as one of the best promoters in all of sports. Buffer said Dana brings new energy to boxing and knows how to run major events. Even with past criticism from people like Oscar De La Hoya, he made it clear that he fully supports Dana White entering the boxing scene.
Michael, it's not a big fight unless you're announcing it. Canelo versus Crawford. How do you see that one going?
I think it's going to be a close and interesting fight.
Right.
I think it's going to be a technical fight, not a power fight.
Now, what do you think about Dana White promoting it? Do you think
he's only proven himself to be one of the greatest promoters in the history of sports?
So he's good.
Pretty good deal.
He's good for boxing.
Oh yeah, he'll know what to do.
Because some people like De La Hoya have been a little critical of him, but he has the Michael Buffer approval, obviously. For sure. You're the man. Thank you.
Floyd Mayweather did not hold back when speaking about Canelo Alvarez, accusing him of carefully choosing his opponents throughout his career. He downplayed the credit Canelo often receives and reminded fans that their fight was one-sided. Mayweather said he easily controlled the bout, even though he was close to 40 years old. He also called out the boxing world for praising Canelo while ignoring the accomplishments of other fighters, arguing that Canelo was never as tough as people claimed.
You could take a guy like Canelo, this guy could do, he can pick and choose who he want to fight. And I'm going to tell y'all the truth about Canelo. Easy, man. Cakewalk. Easy. Y'all sitting up here, y'all praising this dude. This dude was nothing. I was almost 40 years old when I cooked this dude. Easy. Y'all always disrespecting our fighters.
Kenny Porter dismissed the idea that Canelo Alvarez would easily defeat Terence Crawford, calling it nonsense. He shared that he has known Crawford since his teenage years and has seen him pass every challenge, from national events to global competitions. Kenny said Crawford has a way of making tough fights look simple, and reminded critics that the so-called nobodies he beat were actually champions at the time. He finished by saying he never bets against Crawford and always supports him.
Well, you know, that's total bullshit. That's total bullshit. See, because here's another thing where that's concerned. Bud has been a boxer since I first met him, he was like 13 years old. So Bud has been tested in national tournaments, Olympic trials, Pan Am Games. We were in Venezuela together in the Pan Am Games. He's been tested so many times along the way that when he got to the higher levels in professional boxing, he made it look easy. And a lot of times, the guys that he made it look easy against, those are probably the guys that Canelo are saying, oh, that's nobody, it's nobody. Nah, dude, that's who they put in front of me. That's who the champion was at the time, and I beat him. And just like Bud said, everybody that they put in front of him, he has beat him. I'll never bet against Bud.
Kenny.
I got Bud.
Kenny, you think?
I never bet against Bud.
Kenny also spoke about how neither Canelo nor Crawford feels pressure because both are built to handle it. He recalled how Canelo faced Floyd Mayweather at just 21 or 22, showing his mental toughness. When talking about Crawford, Kenny described him as calm and confident, with no sign of nerves. He believes both fighters are mentally sharp and fully ready for the spotlight.
I don't think either one of these guys feel pressure. These are the guys that are built for pressure. So, you know, Canelo stepped up against Floyd when he was, 21, 22 years old. He was a kid. Nah, there's no pressure for Canelo, right? And as far as Bud, he cool as the other side of the pillow, man. You know, he just, no, I know that personally. I know that personally. This dude is, you know, he's ice cold. Ain't nothing but ice cold running through his veins. And so there's no pressure. And then on the other side of it, as far as, who's the guy that's better prepared for this? You know, each fight is different.
Finally, Kenny said this fight is unique because neither man has faced someone quite like the other. He expects the early rounds to be cautious, while both figure each other out. Though Canelo has the size advantage and experience fighting at heavier weights, Kenny believes Crawford's ability to adapt will help him win. He called Crawford's skill to adjust during a fight something special that sets him apart.
Neither one of them has fought anyone like the other. This is the first time for either. So there's going to be a little fill-out going on. And then I also expect that Canelo thinks, as he should, as if I was training Canelo, I should as well. I would feel the same way. He's got a size advantage, right? Even if Bud comes in at, the same weight, the size advantage goes to the man who's been comfortably fighting there for a long period of time, for a longer period of time. Give me a second, bro. You know what I mean? So, yeah, there's that as well, but I think Bud overcomes that. He usually, with anyone he's in there with, he usually figures them out. He's got this little thing in his brain that figures out everybody's in there with.
Bozy Ennis shared that he is picking Terence Crawford to win, even if some might doubt his view. He compared Crawford to his son, Jaron Boots Ennis, saying both have the ability to move up in weight and still dominate. Bozy mentioned that he has watched Boots spar and stop bigger fighters in the gym, and he believes Crawford can do the same at 168 pounds. He feels this weight could actually suit Crawford well, and has no doubts about Crawford's ability to handle it. Bozy praised Crawford's ring IQ, saying he never wastes punches and always knows exactly what to do.
Well, people ain't gonna believe me, but I'm leaning towards Terence.
Oh, okay.
Remember this though, Terence and Boots is almost like similar when it comes to that weight thing, right?
Yes.
Boots gets up big, but I seen Boots at a certain weight where he can handle them big guys and stopping them, be knocking them out in the sparring in the gym.
Wow.
When he's up in weight. So I think that's a beautiful weight for Terence, but that's going up to 168 though, right?
Yeah, 168.
Yeah, but I think he can handle it, man. I
think
think
he can do it.
And then one thing about Terence though, people don't understand, he can box and he's smart.
Yes.
He don't waste no punches, man.
He don't waste that energy.
And he's really smart, man, when it comes to that boxing game.
Bozy also explained how he would train Crawford for a fight against Canelo. His strategy would focus on movement and sharp combinations to throw off Canelo's rhythm. Since Canelo likes to be planted before throwing, Bozy said Crawford's footwork could stop that flow. He would have Crawford land clean shots, tie Canelo up, and walk him back to the center of the ring to slow things down. Bozy believes that once Canelo gets frustrated, he becomes easier to hit and more likely to make mistakes, giving Crawford a clear advantage.
But it was me and I'm training him.
Yeah.
I would have him frustrating Canelo. What I would do with him, I would hit him with some good shots, combination shots, because Canelo got to be set to throw punches.
That's right. That's right.
You know what I mean? If Crawford boxing move, he don't like nobody to boxing move, and that's what I think Crawford is going to do. And then this is what I would tell him to do. We'll box him and hit him with good shots. You know what I mean? Set him up. Soon he get ready to get set, tie him up, walk him to the center.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Kill that clock.
You keep on doing it over and over, and then once you start doing that, right, they lose their cool. Then they open up for all kinds of shots.
Nice. Frustrating, right, Coach?
Yep, frustration.
Ronnie Shields shared that he expects an exciting and high-level fight, with both Canelo and Crawford entering the ring fully prepared and in peak condition. He said he slightly leans toward Terence Crawford because of his unusual style, which includes switching stances and sharp counterpunching. Shields believes Crawford won't need to run, but can still give Canelo trouble by constantly adjusting and showing different looks. He called Crawford a complete fighter with all the tools needed for victory. If he were in Crawford's corner, Shields said he would advise using his reach and going to Canelo's body to take control of the pace.
I think it's going to be a great fight, number one. I think both guys are going to be in great shape, like always. And look, I'm favoring Crawford because I just think Crawford is an awkward fighter, and I think he's going to give Canelo a problem just because he switches both ways, and he won't be running all around the ring like school did. Crawford is a great counterpuncher also. Crawford is everything a fighter needs to be, and I think he's going to show Canelo different things that he haven't seen before.
Absolutely. And Coach, if you were training Crawford, what would be some of the keys to victory that you would tell him?
Use your reach and touch his body.
That's it for today's video. So what are your thoughts on this? Share your thoughts in the comments section and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video. Also check out our other videos on the screen right now.